All right, chemistry, here comes your video lecture going over the syllabus. So in the syllabus, we have a number of things to cover. We're going to cover type of content, grading procedure, Rigor, AST, extra credit, late assignments, makeup assignments and tests, and then as well as the journal assignment. Oh, went a little too fast. Expectations on behavior, general class misbehavior, the tardy policy, bathroom policy, Mr. Johnson's desk, phones, and video lectures and issues. So what I want you to get out of this, I want you to be able to summarize your classroom expectations. I want you to frame the use of AST. I want you to distinguish Rigor from other classes. I want you to describe the late policy. I want you to explain the journal assignment. I want you to identify tardy and bathroom policies, recount consequences for phones and touching things on Mr. Johnson's desk, and then describe how lectures are given. So here we go. So as far as content, this course will focus on the major concepts in chemistry. Prerequisites for this course, biology and algebra 1. So what this means is you have some experience in science and you have a certain amount of mathematical capabilities, capacity, because you will be doing math in this course. Grading procedure. The main breakdown, usually the traditional 90 to 100% is an A, 80 to 89% is a B, and so on and so forth. What I want to point out is I will do no rounding. If you have an 89.9% in my class, you have a B+, because it takes 90% to have an A. You might ask, well, why won't you just round up? I'm so close. My counter is, well, why didn't you do that just tiny bit of work that would have gotten you that 0.1%? The big thing here is I want to point out that tests and quizzes, aka assessments, make up more than half of your grade in this class, 55% together, 55%. So you have to be able to perform on assessments in order to get that good grade that you want. Rigor. Chemistry is an A through G course, also known as college preparatory. Students who have scored well in previous classes, even science classes, often struggle in chemistry. Students must be prepared to raise the level of their mental and physical effort in order to deal with the rigor of this class. It's a lot of work trying to prepare you for college, and college science classes, real science classes, are a whole nother beast, and we're trying to get you ready for that. AST. Okay, AST is assisted study time. It's a 15-minute period after school. From Tuesdays through Fridays, it's 3:05 to 3:20. On Mondays, it's 1:45 to 2. This is a time where students have the opportunity to get extra help from teachers, extra time to work on assignments, or make up missed assessments, or communicate about future scheduling issues. If you're going to miss the next day's period because of some sort of athletic competition, AST is a great time to come and say, hey, I'm going to miss tomorrow. What am I going to miss? This year, CUHS has elected to begin a practice in which certain students will be selected out of their last period class of the day to stay for AST. These students will be selected based on, but not limited to, overall grade, recent assessment marks, and missing assignments. And you have to understand here, that means on a day-to-day basis, you may not know if I'm going to ask you to stay for AST if you're in my if you have me the last period of the day. Now, obviously, if you have a D or an F, you can really expect to be asked to stay. That's kind of par for the course. But even if you don't, even if you have a pretty nice grade, if you've missed a number of recent assignments, I may ask you to stay. If you did fairly poorly on a recent assessment, I may ask you to stay. And here's the kicker. I may ask you to stay if your level of engagement was low for that day. And guess what? That is subjective. That's my opinion. And here is the added bonus. These ASTs are required. They are required. However, they're not disciplinary in nature. I'm not asking you to stay because you're in trouble. I'm asking you to stay so we can fix whatever wasn't going well. If your grade is pretty low, we're trying to get your grade up. If you're missing some assignments, we're trying to get those assignments done. If you did poorly on a particular assessment, we're trying to get your content knowledge up. If your engagement was low, I'd like you to stay and have that conversation with me so we can do better in the future. So these are a strategy designed to help improve student grades. Please do not plan on leaving campus until 3:20 on days which you are asked to stay for AST. Now, this is going to happen. I know it is. It's going to be painful when it does, but I know it's going to. I'm going to ask a student to stay for AST. And that student's going to say, well, my ride gets here at such and such time. My ride gets here at 3. Well, that's too bad. And that is too bad. Your ride is going to have to wait, or you're going to have to get another ride. It is truly, legally appropriate for the school to make you stay until 3:20. If your parent comes in and complains about it, that will not change anything. The school has that legal authority, and it will not be uprooted by your parent not wanting to wait 15 minutes. That is legally within the realm, legally within the power of the school. So do not plan on getting out of it. Extra credit. There will be no extra credit in this class. No exceptions. Don't ask. When a student asks me, Johnson, can I do something extra to get my grade up? I'll do anything. Well, that's not true, because anything includes doing the assignments when I ask you to do them, as well as study when I ask you to study. So, no extra credit. Late assignments, I know these will happen, maybe not even because you're a poor student, because you forgot that day, whatever. All students, or all assignments will be due at the beginning of the period, or when called for by Mr. Johnson. That's me. Other than excused absences, assignments handed in any other time will be considered late. Because falling behind is such a grave situation, there are late work penalties. So if you turn something in within 1 week of the due date, you get 80% of what you could have got. So if it's a 10-point assignment, it's completely done, but you turn it in 1 day late, you're going to get an 8 out of 10, which is pretty good, because that's still a B. I have to dock you a little bit because because you didn't turn it on time, but I still want to reward you for turning it in, for doing it, even though it's late. After 1 week, it's 50%. You get 50% of what you would have received on that assignment. And that might seem like, oh, that's an F, that's horrible, I might as well not even do it. Totally wrong. Zeros in your grade are what kill your grade, not 50s. Okay, so get that work in even if it's late. Make up assignments and tests. Any work missed due to an excused absence, they'll just be due per school policy, meaning if you're absent for a day, you get 1 extra day to turn that in. After that, it'll be considered late. So we want you to keep up with the pace. If you miss an assessment, we're going to want you to take that assessment as soon as possible, but you're going to have to do it during AST. You have to come in during AST to make up those assessments. If it takes you more than 1 AST, that's fine. That is A-OK. On assignments, this is going to be a big thing. People are going to be shocked when this happens to them. And I don't know why, because I'm telling you blatantly right now, and I'll tell you again. All work must be shown on tests, quizzes, and labs, and assignments. If there's no calculation, you'll receive no credit. No points. You'll get a 0. So if you're wondering, how do I show my work? Refer to example calculations in class for examples of how to do that, how I want you to show your work. And you'll see that a lot. You'll see examples in the PowerPoint notes. You'll see examples in the sample problems that I give you. I'll work stuff out on the board. I'll show you how I want you to show your work. But you have to do that. The journal assignment, we've already done this a little bit. Most every period will begin with a journal entry. Once the bell rings, a timer will be started. At the end of the timer, a stamp will be placed on the paper of those students who have both copied down the question and written a legitimate answer. Here, a legitimate answer does not mean a correct answer. A legitimate answer that uses a stamp is one that attempts to use past knowledge, not necessarily just from this course, but just any knowledge that you have in order to respond to the prompt as well as possible. Missed stamps cannot be made up unless it was an absence or an excused tardy. And again, excused tardy. That means it has a note. My expectations for your behavior. You need to exhibit the 3 R's: readiness, responsibility, and respect. If you're ready, students, you'll be on time to class, and you'll be prepared to actively participate in the day's activity. That means you're going to have utensils and handouts ready to go. Now, if you finish the journal prompt on time, most likely you're on time, you have something to write with, and you're ready to go. But I want to point out this actively participate. If you're doing a poor job of actively participating, you're going to run the risk of having me ask you to stay during AST. Being responsible. Students will be expected to be responsible. That means that the student will is fully and solely responsible for learning the information. I'm going to try to help you, but the learning falls on your shoulders. You have to do it. This includes communicating with the instructor before any scheduled absence so that accommodations can be made to ensure students maintain proper pace and don't fall behind. Respectful. Students will be respectful. Being respectful consists in, but is not limited to, remaining silent while other individuals have been acknowledged to speak, or when Mr. Johnson is speaking. Do not talk while I'm talking. Don't be quiet. Don't be, hush hush. Don't talk. So roll will be taken when the bell rings. If a student is not inside the classroom by the time the bell is completed ringing, the student will be marked as tardy. A tardy status does not excuse a student from the normal expectations for the journal, so that's not an excuse. You're still going to miss the stamp if you don't finish on time. Students may be permitted to visit the restroom if in need. However, the student will be assigned a mandatory AST in exchange. The instructor, me, I reserve the right to refuse a student from leaving the room if the instructor deems it inappropriate and unnecessary. So I'm going to let you use the restroom, but if I feel like you're just abusing it and you're going to check your phone, something like that, I can and will say no. So don't expect to use the bathroom whenever you want. If you're willing to serve an AST with me, that's fine. You're simply trading. You're proving to me that you actually do need to have that happen. So when you ask me if you can use the restroom, I will respond by saying, are you willing to make the trade, is the phrase I use. And if yeah, go for it. That's fine. But you're going to need to spend that mandatory AST. And if you miss that mandatory AST, for whatever reason, I don't really care. If you miss that mandatory AST, it's going to turn into a detention. So my desk. No student will touch anything on my desk. That's the front desk or the side desks. Touching anything on the front desk or the side desk without expressed, specific instruction or permission will result in a mandatory AST. Objects on the front desk will either be objects used for instruction or they'll be chemicals that you don't know what they are. So don't mess with them. No exceptions. Doesn't matter if you think you know what it is, do not touch it. That includes pieces of paper, calculators, staplers. Don't touch it unless you ask permission that exact time. Phones. No phones. Phones will be confiscated if they're seen on campus or suspected of use. That's important. Suspected of use, I can ask for your phone, and I will ask for your phone. Phones will also be confiscated when a student leaves the room to use the bathroom. If you think you're going to go to the bathroom, you just got to go to mandatory AST so you can check your phone. Not happening. I'm going to take your phone. I'll give it right back when you return, but you're going to give me your phone. If you want to use your phone for a calculator, no. Calculators on phones will not be used for class purposes. Students must either bring their own calculator from home or use one from the classroom sets. Video lectures. Throughout this course, lectures will be given via YouTube. Notes will be taken while the video plays, and the video will not be paused. Students are encouraged to watch video lectures multiple times at homes and during AST in order to complete missed notes. Absent students are expected to watch missed video lectures on their own time before the next class period. All video lectures are available at all times. If a student has a metered internet connection or internet connectivity issues at home, the student may use one of the computers in the library or the B1 lab in order to view the video lectures. If necessary, a student may bring a phone or a jump drive to Mr. Johnson and have a hard copy of the video lecture uploaded to that device to avoid data usage or connectivity issues. But note, this is the responsibility of the student to arrange the transaction. If you're having any issue, please contact me. This is my email address. Use it. Or you can come to the back to school night with parent or guardian. That's going to be August 23rd, and ask me in person. And I really do hope to hear from you. I want to be of assistance in your learning excursion here at CUHS. So these are the things that we've done. Classroom expectations, AST, rigor, late policy, journal assignment, tardy and bathroom policies, phone and touching stuff on Mr. Johnson's desk, how we're going to lecture, and then wrong thing. There we go. Expectations of behavior, general class misbehavior, tardy policy. This is a little, oh, it started over. My bad. But we've gone through all this stuff. All right, guys. I will see you next period.